and you really have a solid vehicle that can kind of take you from, okay, I don't have a business right now, to, right, I'm up and running. Speaking of distractions, because I think they are a major hurdle for anyone to make a real success of a business, what strategies do you recommend for people for avoiding distractions and staying on track? Yeah, it is good to employ strategies where you can, and techniques and tactics. If there are tools you can use, like there's that Eisenhower box that you can use to differentiate the urgent and important tasks. That's quite a helpful one. And then you can kind of, rather than just having a to-do list that is in the order in which you wrote the things down in, put all of those things into a graph like that in a box that allows you to say, well, it's urgent but not important, or important but not urgent, and then like figure out what do you need to work on, and focus then relentlessly on the important things, the income producing activities. It's like if you're in your garden, we had the gardener here the other day putting down like weed killer on the grass to try and prevent the weeds from like taking over, because if you just leave it over time, it's just going to become this like rewilded mess of weeds everywhere. And it's, if you want a lawn, you got to, it's kind of the same with your mind. If you want it to be like a clean canvas, well, you've got to kind of very frequently go in and just prune and remove the things, the distractions, those little tasks that are taking up your mental bandwidth. They're growing in the lawn, but they're not contributing to the end goal of what you want, the clear headspace, the successful business. So another thing you can do, turn your phone notifications off on all the apps. I usually have my phone on Do Not Disturb, but when I don't, I definitely have all the notifications for pretty much every app off. And then you can set specific times for batch checking your emails and social media as well. Make sure that you're not logging in the morning and going straight to the inbox and letting whoever else's priorities are in that inbox dictate where you take your day. It's easier said than done. I get it that it's not always practical, but you can definitely bake this into a kind of a routine so that your anxiety is not building up from like the emails that are unseen that are building up in the inbox, because you will tackle them, but just at batched times throughout the day. So you can kind of designate those time blocks for really deep work and just prioritize the highest priority tasks that you have, and really focus your time on those.
And get those done crucially early, first thing in the day, really, ideally, to make sure that they get done. And anything else beyond that is a bonus. But I know that I used to have a real issue with the notifications on my phone. So I'm glad you mentioned it, because I remember, and I can't believe I used to live like this, but every few minutes, every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, there'd be some sort of notification that I'd allow to pop through on my phone. And every time it comes through, it's a reason to look away from whatever you were focusing on, look at your phone, even if it's something that you can ignore, but it just takes you out of that moment. And then I learned all about task switching and the cognitive load that it takes away from your brain power whenever you look at a distraction, even just for 5 seconds. I believe it's like a case of being about 10 to 12 minutes that it takes for you to actually get back into focusing on the task again, even after a short distraction like that. So as soon as I learned about these things and realized the hugely detrimental impact it was going to have on the focus that I had, as you have done as well, Lewis, just have to mute all notifications, spend the majority of the day on Do Not Disturb, because otherwise you're just asking for trouble. You're asking to be distracted from left, right and center. So we've touched on the income producing tasks and how important they are. Hopefully we're getting that across. But could you elaborate now on what these actually are for a dropshipping business?
Yeah, absolutely. In my opinion, and this will differ, depending on who you listen to, but for me, the 3 pillars for dropshipping that I would say result in you getting from zero to having a successful business up and running, if I had to really boil it down to just the 3 core pillars, would be signing new suppliers, because that's the bit that everyone procrastinates about. No one wants to make the calls, like get that bit done, get the good suppliers on board, sign them up, get the products live. The next would be then adding products that are in demand, because you've got the suppliers, but are the suppliers even ones with products that people want? Because we see this as well. Sometimes someone will say, I've signed 4 suppliers, but they're suppliers that no one really is looking for or searching for. And when you're creating a retail dropshipping business like we are, you're not coming into the market with a big name. So you are leveraging the popularity of the brands that you sign with. Now, one of the best ways to get fast sales is to just sign brands that are already in demand, So that would be one of the key pillars as well. And then I think the third would just be, like we said, optimizing ads and marketing, making sure that you're getting more reach through ads, making sure you're getting better conversions through, when I say marketing, I mean, I'm referring to like email marketing, social media marketing, and even like on-site marketing. Like what is the messaging, the offer? What is the, like, how clear and conversion rate optimized is your landing page, your product page? Like, is there a reason why people might not buy from you, but they would buy from a competitor? Tweak those things. And then they're kind of like the engine, the chassis, the wheels of your car. You know, you put all those bits together, and then you really have a solid vehicle that can kind of take you from, okay, I don't have a business right now, to, right, I'm up and running, and I've freed up some headspace because I've now got some money to invest and bring in software and team members and things like that, get a virtual assistant, to start focusing on some of the more, maybe the distractions can be quite fun, quite interesting. You know, there's always new stuff being released, people talking about new tools. Well, maybe you do want to test those things and try them. And that's part of the fun, I think, of being an entrepreneur. You get to explore these things. But I think the danger is people try and do that exploratory phase too early. You know, they're picking out the chandelier for their house before they built the thing. Like, get the thing built first. And then focus on building those strong relationships with those suppliers. So once you've signed those suppliers, it's one thing just signing them, but make sure you've got a good ongoing relationship with them. Regularly update your product offerings based on what your customers are telling you. Is there a feedback loop you can implement into your business that after a customer either buys or, even more importantly, doesn't buy, what can they tell you about why they didn't buy? Did you not have a certain type of product on your store that they were looking for? Was there a brand you don't yet have that they wanted? Continually be testing this stuff, tweaking it, optimizing your ads. And so we can go really deep into this stuff. And specifically, there's an episode we did on suppliers as well, like UK suppliers who offer next day delivery to customers. And that was episode 22, I believe, of the DSU podcast, which was titled How to Sign UK Dropshipping Suppliers. And we dived really deep into the effective strategies in that episode for actually securing and signing those premium UK suppliers.